The first one I have for you, Stephen, is, I mean, it's pretty obvious, but do you see AI as the future, as in the next industrial revolution? Like, is it going to be one of these major time changes, one of these major evolvements, or is it more going to be a minor part of where we're heading as a society?
100%. This is the fifth industrial revolution. So this is the fifth wave of the industrial revolution. We are moving into an automated, computerized world. Now, we're already seeing. So the fourth wave was general robotics in manufacturing. Now we're going to see the advancement of AI and quantum computing. I still reckon quantum computing will be like the sixth wave, which will bring robotics and AI together as one. So that's probably still some time off, because the problem with quantum computing is, one, it's not, there is quantum computers out there, but they're not mobile, right? So we're back at the mainframe days. Until they get a quantum computer that is in this, they won't be very effective. They'll be still stuck in, you know, universities and science compounds and stuff like that. So yes, this is massive. And if it's used right, and then you're applying it, you can get ahead of the curve now. And look, I keep coming back to, you should be using it in marketing and all that general admin stuff, because that's the bloat in a business that you can quite easily. Your sales, designing chat bots and all that sort of stuff to replace customer service, all that sort of stuff is coming, and it's been worked on now. There's one I found around the world, Orange Chat or Orange Bot or something like that. Someone was pitching me it. Was basically a customer service chatbot based on using GPT-3 and ChatGPT's models, language models and such. As I said, you know, the Toyota mechanic needs to find something in a new Toyota. You'll have these chatbots that'll be able to talk to him and basically show him how to do it. You'll have you could even have proper online education, where you can have interactive sessions with students using AI. You know, so your instructor might actually be an AI. You know, your tutor or whatever could be an AI chatbot. So we are starting to see these sort of things come now. They're very clunky, very thing. Doctor, for instance. Anything that's science based, I think that AI could do that quite well, because it's going to take the emotion out of it. Computers don't have emotion. Emotion is one thing that is the biggest bias for a lot of things. Legal profession, giving, you know, giving feedback on cases or something like that, writing precedents for judges to look at. All this sort of stuff could come through AI. So yeah, we are well and truly recipes. Let's do it. Let's do it for shits and giggles. Let me just log back in and see if I can do it. Because I've actually never done this. But let's do a recipe, right? Oh, no, let me in. Okay. Recipe for almond pound cake. There you go. So,
So
so I've just asked it to write me. Let me go there. So an almond pound cake, right? Which is I actually love almond pound cakes. So there it goes. Recipe for almond pound cake. And then it gave me the recipe, and then it gave me the instructions to make it.
gee, who needs recipe books now when you've got Chat GPT and AI?
Exactly. So imagine now, right? So what am I trying to? Oops. I'm really stuffing everything up here today. So imagine now that I don't know, you want the recipe for vegan plant-based sausages, right? This could give you the recipe to make that. And what you could do is, you know, and this is probably a business idea for someone, if there's a chef out there somewhere and wants to get ahead of the world, created an AI-based cookbook, a cooking business, right? So people can have a conversation, voice command. So basically, you could say, you know, hi, Chef Phil, can you give me the recipe for an almond pound cake? And it'll come out and say, oh yeah, you need this, 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 and this. I've checked your fridge, right? Because say you got a smart fridge with little tags on all your stuff. It goes, you don't have enough eggs. I've checked your pantry, and you're missing almond flour, or something like that, right? Because we've moved to the world of RFIDs on everything, and that is happening, by the way. A lot of food products actually have RFID chips in them now that you just don't know. And the better the RFID printing is on cans and tins and packets and all that sort of stuff, the better it'd be. So you could have these sensors in your house. I wouldn't let them in, by the way, but you could. And you could be in the kitchen going, you know, I don't know how to boil an egg, and go, hey, you know, Chef Phil, can you help me boil an egg? And then the AI will talk to you. This is where the Google Home device and Alexa and all those were trying to go years ago. But basically, because they were shit, they all they've turned into is, you know, hey, Google, play me a fucking song. Or hey, Alexa, play me a song. Now, with this sort of AI, and I'll bet my left testicle that Google and all these guys are putting this stuff into the next versions of Alexa, or into Google Home, or into whatever it is, to make it better and better. Apple will be working on it. Guarantee it. In the background, they'll be making Siri and all these. So they've been leading the way on convenience, you know, and once again, you know, convenience is what's going to destroy people in these next waves of industrialization. And so the downside of AI is its convenient nature, and we all know that convenience is a killer for everything. So
yeah, and with the Industrial Revolution, we obviously saw a lot of people losing jobs, and the machines took over. There was plenty of things that went downhill from there. Obviously, it took the world in a whole new direction, but then a lot of people suffered because of their inability to adapt to it. So with the AI revolution, let's just call it that, because as you said, it's the fifth wave of the Industrial Revolution, is the age of the AI. But what time frame would you be giving people to actually upskill their career and make sure they're being prepared for it, so they're not caught out like what happened 100 years ago with the Industrial Revolution?
I think you've got 12 months. 12 months, 2 years before this is everywhere. And if you're not prepared, and especially if you're a business owner and you're not prepared for this, your competition are going to be eating your lunch. If you're an employee and you're not learning how to use this stuff to make yourself essential, you're going to start losing your job. Now, the problem there is a lot of the entry-level positions will get replaced by this. We're starting to see that at fast food restaurants, right? McDonald's, KFC, Subway, Carl Jr.'s, all of them are having self-checkout and self-check-in, self-ordering. So the next thing is AI doing that, and then robotics doing the back end of the food. Now, some people say that you've got robotics in the back end of the food with 15 and 16-year-olds out there anyway. But that's the sort of stuff where we're heading. I think it's McDonald's somewhere, I think it was in Texas, launched a completely robotic hamburger factory. So there was, very minimal staff. So we're actually seeing a lot of this come through. We're going to see it a lot more in manufacturing. Places like Australia are going to be hit harder with a lot of this sort of stuff because we won't have the jobs where it's really going to be needed. Because our politicians are idiots and they're trying to herd everyone into government jobs. It's easier to control if you work for the government, get employed. If you're employed by the government, rely on the government for everything. It's easier to control you. And agriculture will be a massive winner of AI, because you'll be able to send robots out to go and pick weeds or spray weeds with organic materials, or you'll be able to go and scan scan the paddock, go and find your cattle. I know one guy up in the Northern Territory on a big 1 million, 2 million acre property up there. They're using drones to fly all over the property to recognize cattle, and a lot of the cattle have ear tags in with little RFID chips, and as the drone goes past, it picks up all the tags, and what it does is if it finds, so it's imaging as well, and if it finds a whole heap of cattle that aren't tagged, it's counting those separate and going, you've had a good calving season this year, you've got 5,000 extra head in your herd that you need to go and pick up and tag and do all the bits and pieces that they do. There's guys using it, using AI and drone technology to find minerals. There's an underwater company at the moment that is scanning the sea floor using very basic AI to pick out the difference between cobalt nodules and metals nodules on the sea floor from just mud. Right. And this is all happening now. So what the other good thing is humans can't go to the deep sea and work. It's near on impossible. You can't work 5 kilometers down, and pressures will kill you. So using robotics and AI in that environment can work. So we should be able to harvest these nodules off the sea floor and put them to work, and at the same time not totally destroy the sea floor. So you imagine a robot sort of floats down and picks and grabs the nodules rather than just what they've been doing and just dry sweeping and clean sweeping the whole sea floor and getting rid of sea grasses and sea ferns and all that at the same time. Doing proper counts on wild animals and all that sort of stuff. So we're going to be able to do a lot more than what we can now and get better data than what we can now, because a lot of the models on counting things are based on, if I count something in 1 square mile and there's 10, and I apply that then to the 1 million square miles, I should get X number. Well, we know that's not right. Right. And so a lot of these numbers and that they're using in their models are way out because they're not counting properly. So, so AI will do that. So it'll open up new jobs, new positions, new things that we couldn't do better before. At the same time, it's going to be able to track you a lot better, facial recognition and all that sort of stuff. Just having a credit card in your wallet and all this sort of stuff, they'll be able to track you really well, work out your habits and all that sort of stuff. So there is good and bad to it. But mate, there is a big AI future, good and bad.
Yeah, definitely. And what you were saying before about the cattles, do you actually see that, like, just as a side question, do you see that's what they're wanting to do to humans when when you hear them talking about microchips?
Why? They've got it. What do you think that is? That's the biggest tagging device that they've ever put in someone's hand, right? And this is what as an aside, people that are so worried about the director's ID, or they're so worried about you being tracked, you know, credit cards, people, been around since the 70s. Biggest tracking device ever. Debit cards are next, right? Mate, the bus is bolted on tracking humans. It's gone. You know, I suppose you're turning up to a privacy fight, you know, when privacy's dead and buried 20 years ago. No one got upset 20 years ago when you should have got upset. People were warning everyone back then and no one got upset. So just because you got to do a director's ID or you've got to do a government ID to log on to government services, who cares? They've got your data anyway, right? And not just governments have your data, but every single organisation out there has your data. Right? There's no such thing as privacy anymore. Right? And people that make it a big thing now, I laugh at them, because most of those people were happy to have the convenience, were happy to have, you know, everything go, you know, along, and then when they come out with the digital ID for directors, they all get upset. You know, governments don't need a centralized database, right, to track you and all that. They've got it now. But it's the corporations that are tracking you. They're the ones that you need to be worried about, not governments. Most governments are fucking stupid. It's the corporations that are feeding the governments, you know, make this law, make that law, make this law, make that law, so they can track it. So.
Yeah, definitely. So the next point we have here, you've kind of already mentioned it throughout the interview that we're doing, but if you had to summarize it with AI, what type of things do you see it actually replacing and what do you see it not replacing? So we've covered a lot about what it will replace, but we haven't really talked about what it won't replace. So what do you see being indispensable to AI?
Once again, those that don't rely on the system to operate. Like if I'm thinking about myself, because I create the jobs and I create the opportunities for people to be employed, I can control AI to a degree and its influence on me. If you're in a white-collar job, there is a big high chance that you could get replaced. You want to make sure that during this revolution that you are placing yourself in a juncture where you're sort of untouchable from this. And look, investments, so where I'll be touched is when when I'm seeking investments and having that sort of work done, because the AI will be running all the checks and everything now. So investment decisions will be quicker and they'll be a lot brutaler than what they are. But the people with the money won't be affected. If you know, the people that are controlling the system won't be affected. The essential people won't be affected. We'll still need carers and we'll still need firefighters. They'll use a lot of those sort of jobs won't go away, but they'll be enhanced by this revolution. Because if you have a look through time and actually studying history is a really good thing to work out what doesn't go away when there is a major change. So merchants, trading merchants don't go away. They just change nature. There's always been traders. Insurance hasn't gone away. It's been around since the beginning of time. Banking hasn't gone away since the Medici started it back in 600 BC or whatever it was. Nurses, doctors haven't gone away. Trust practitioners, people that goldsmiths haven't gone away. Jewelers haven't gone away. They've always been around throughout time. Teachers really haven't gone away. So if you have a look throughout time, there is certain fields that just haven't disappeared. Buggy whip manufacturers disappeared, right? But the buggy whip manufacturer become the mechanic. So certain occupations will change, but certain things won't change. And if you have a look through history, make sure, and it's always the jobs that are essential. They can get enhanced by what's happening, but they'll never go away.
Yeah, those are some great points. And yeah, very much whoever needs to know how to control things. It goes back even to asset protection principles, is actually controlling things rather than being self-employed and having to do it yourself, because AI will take a lot of that over.